Hey, it's Shaves, and welcome to another edition of AniTube Digest, where we go over the best and not so best, and not so that came out this week. Not so best anime YouTube videos that came out this week. You guys know the drill. The 28th of February to the 7th of March. That's some kooky time. Maybe I'm in a good mood. That's a good thing. This first one, we're going to go some videos I thought were decent and pretty good. You know, I didn't never heard that many videos this time, which was nice. It was a nice time. Because like last week I had a lot of videos. That's okay. But this first one's from who is this? LouTalksAnime character. Who? New channel? No. Lou's old. Haha, old. No, I'm kidding. No, he's been around for a while. Actually, when I see he hasn't posted that many vids, and maybe he unlisted some stuff. I don't know, or maybe he don't. Yeah. But he put out a video this week about ranking of kings. The problem with Miranjo's backstory. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But I did see the controversy that he's talking about in this vid, and it makes sense. He's kind of talking very briefly about it. Although there's a couple like little editing nice things he put in there. I saw some like masking, did some playful fancy things. I'm like, okay, nice. But he was talking about this controversy with ANN. Well, controversy, you know. Well, it's a kind of an interesting situation where the author seems to have taken inspiration from a real life event. I don't know much about it, and I don't want to downplay it or anything like that. But it's like I think it has to do with Japan's relationship with Korea. That's not very savory, not very tasteful for him to have made such close parallels to. And they kind of wrote this review of I can't even talk about the positive aspects of this episode because that's just so heinous, and it's just like a permanent stain on the whole show. So it makes they really disliked that element of it. And I think Lou's just talking about how look, it's the narrative is coming from the antagonist's perspective, who is, or not the antagonist, from an unreliable narrator pretty much. And it's well, the author definitely didn't have to do that. It's still not a good look. I think it's important to take the fuller context around it, and yeah. So I think Lou has a pretty even-handed thing. Doesn't spend too much time on any one aspect, which I think is kind of a smart move. Because it's the longer you go on with something like this, I think you could open yourself to more saying some not so good things. You know what I mean? And again, I come from a place of complete ignorance pretty much, where I'm I haven't seen the show. I did see that they posted that review and people were kind of reacting. I was oh, maybe I shouldn't watch this show at all now because of this one element in episode 18 or 19. And it's well, that's really sad. Unfortunately, if you're gonna allow people to dissuade you from a show like that, basically, it's there's a lot of shows that have weird or problematic or not so great elements, but that's not going to dissuade you from checking out this show that a lot of other people have really enjoyed, that a lot of people have worked on, animation wise, sound wise, voice acting wise, that have nothing to do with that creative choice, that I think should be seen and admired, and it looks like a great show, and I'm saying Lou's not going through this whole thing. I think he's just taking this specific issue and giving the broader context out of it, which I was appreciative of. I didn't see many other people mentioning this outside of that particular circle. So it was nice to see him come out of retirement in that way and talk about that. That was really cool. Nice, good vid, man. Got a video from Ermi Anime, and he's talking about Alien 9, experiencing an anime. And this, I don't know, the title just, it seems a little generic in places, but it actually hit a very particular nerve for me in a good way. It reminded me of this video that I was thinking of making. A lot of stuck in the drafts kinds of videos, but this idea of and I know this isn't necessarily what the video ends up being about, but the title kind of reminded me of this idea where it's not so much of the characters or plot or the conventional things that people talk about when it comes to an anime, but the real moment-to-moment audience experience and experiencing of an anime when it comes to certain pieces. There are certain titles for me that I really love mainly for the experience. It wasn't, and it's kind of a lot of the things, but it's the way they handle them So it ended up being, I'm sorry, I'm just talking about my thing instead of the video itself. I'll wrap this up really quick. But it was going to talk about kind of like, you know, the disorientation of Serial Experiments Lane, or kind of the very stark, disorienting craziness of Occultic 9, erraticness, I suppose. And also and then also like the way Yurikuma was for me when I first watched it. How it's like the OP is super sensual and it's bizarre and wacky and doing its thing, and it's less. I remember distinctively watching the first episode and just I could, you know, I was like sensory overload pretty much. And I remember like texting my friends like, dude, lesbian bears or something like that. I was just like, I didn't know what to do with the information. I couldn't tell my parents, things like that. I don't know. It was just things like that. Anyway, but this, what the Alien 9 video is about is kind of the only other time that Ermi's experienced like visceralness from the character, and in a sense of anxiety and putting himself in the place of that character. The real ideal that he talks about is Perfect Blue, but he's using Alien 9 as the example. It's like kind of like there's this other experience was really interesting because it's more of in a grounded, realistic sense that's like relatable in terms of the growing up and anxiety and things feeling weird and strange in that way. Yeah, so I thought it was nice, kind of a quick sort of thing with the video, and I really appreciate a lot of the experimentation and playfulness that the editing has. The video that has on a visual sense feels very like making things look cool basically, and I appreciate that as having done those sorts of things with my videos in the past, and seeing that playful. It was an enjoyable experience as like a visual thing on top of the substance that was being discussed. Hey, yeah. Again, I'm sorry. I ended up talking a little bit more about what this like, reminded me of, but no, I really appreciate it, and wanted you guys to check it out. I will say I'm also subscribed to his main channel, which is Spanish speaking, or I'm sorry if it's not. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, and I've talked about his videos before with the Urusei Yatsura thing. But I just noticed that like, wait, now it is? Oh, that's right. It's a weird whole thing because I know you linked the English video in my Discord, and then like, but I listed the Spanish one in my watch later, assuming it was gonna have like English closed captions, and then it didn't. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay, he has a English channel. So I just like went to your channel, and I couldn't see the English one linked. So like the English one links to the Spanish one, but the Spanish one doesn't link to the English one, to my knowledge, at least that I couldn't find. I don't think it's like a huge problem or deal or anything like that. And I know, and I'm just being silly. I'm not like a problem or something, you know. But yeah, there's something I noticed is what it is. Yeah, but I really like hearing more discussion about Alien 9. Yeah, it's a good time, good vid. I'm not sure how to pronounce the FKA Ghost, FK Ghost. I'm not sure. He put out a video, his second video, and the first one he did was for Novid, I'm pretty sure. He's one of and you can tell through the references and things like that and also Joe was like he tried to make sure he mentioned this guy in Digest. I was like, yeah, this video came out after I recorded, so I didn't see it. But the thumbnail is certainly interesting, isn't it? Although I just noticed that like at first I was going to say it's nice that like the thumbnail gets referenced, not the thumbnail itself, but the elements in the thumbnail are referenced in the video itself, with the art about with Majo Demoschetti, like the red and green stuff, but also Carl Jung and like the 6ix9ine tattoo things. But then I'm looking at the thumbnail again and it has Jeffrey Epstein in it. I'm like, wait, I don't remember that in the video. Maybe it is, but it's certainly an eclectic thumbnail for sure. And it makes sense for this OVA. That's like you're not gonna use the art from the OVA for this thumbnail because it is just sort of a. I don't think it's got English subs either. I had never heard of it, but it is looks certainly interesting and it is kind of a standard review. But the thing that makes it interesting is definitely FK Ghost's use of clips, like the things like his sense of humor and how like very bizarre out of the box. It's that sort of very unique, distinct perspective that just makes videos like this interesting, because otherwise it's like it's very easy to just kind of like slip off and like, yeah, whatever kind of video. But it's sort of the humor here and the choices in the in what to focus on, and the clips and everything like that. I don't know. Like bringing up Jung and things like that. It has a really good sense of humor, and also kind of like a sensitive awareness of other YouTube videos, I suppose. And I think there's a way it feels like he's trying to make something like kind of off kilter and different, which is very welcome, which is very nice and welcome. I definitely have to check out the Angel's Egg video. That does sound like a fun time, especially I just love the thumbnail with it's just like very like typical YouTube thumbnail-ish with the red circled stuff and Zam in the corner. That just seems like a fun time. But yeah, I liked the video a good deal. I hope you enjoy making the videos so that you want to make more of them, because I think the more videos you make, naturally you just get better at them, and it's a better time. It's a fun time. So yeah, I did enjoy this video. It was a good time. I use time a lot. I'm sorry. I don't think I've talked about his channel either. The Homie Damian. He put out this video about Step on Me the manga. I forget the name of the manga though. Of course, he's not going to put the name of the manga because that's not the game. You don't play. That's not how you play the game. But he's playing the game really well. He's got almost at 50K and started about a year ago, which is great. And the videos are very, very chill and straightforward. It's just in front of a green screen, but like it's interesting. It's in front of a green screen, but like he has like just like this really nice bar kind of behind him instead of something kind of wacky or something. So I thought that was an interesting choice actually. But it lent for this like kind of have a really nice chill vibe. It also the green screen allows him to like put stuff in the back as he's talking, because it's mostly kind of an in camera with the mic and kind of what I'm doing right here. Except it is really chill, down to earth. It just makes for a nice. It just kind of makes for a nice vibe when he's talking about this like ecchi harem borderline hentai type of manga and stuff. It makes for an interesting contrast and kind of a groundedness, because I think you can definitely go into the realm of feeling very immature when talking about these sorts of when talking about this sort of material, but with sort of like not making it weird, you know. I like that vibe personally. A lot of it kind of went over my head in terms of like what it's about and the certain aspects and things like that. It is just sort of like this nice comfy vibes to ponder at these sorts of at this sort of topic that is relevant to a lot of people, I think, because you know a lot of people enjoy this sort of content. Not this kind of I think the hentai and ecchi and harem type of thing. I'm always interested in this space because it is just like it's undeniably a popular thing. A lot of normal people really like it, right? And you know, I'm not trying to. This isn't to say that you know, I don't know how I'm coming off, but I just like that like his tone. It's just making it more normalized. I think it is something that like obviously a lot of people have like uppity feelings about or protective or kids or something like that, and that's fine. I don't think like young kids should should be consuming this sort of thing. I don't know, to make it politicized basically. It's like I think a lot of people get up in arms, and then the typical, not to throw shade on the people that do act this way, but the people that usually talk about this sorts of content is very hyperactive and memey and over the top, very sugary almost. But I kind of like I'm not saying he's suave in the same way, but I don't know, just the chillness, just like being very grounded and normal. There's something, that certain vibes that I got from this that I kind of like. So I enjoyed the video, honestly. Again, I don't take too much away from it on a substantive level, and that's okay. Although I do think he was making interesting points about like what's making these types of stories effective, that makes you actually want to read them and not simply like enjoy them on a very objective level. That I don't care about the dialogue of the story. I just want the thing that you're there for. But he's like, actually, it does a good job of trying to balance both of them. So I enjoyed that perspective a good deal. Yeah, it was nice. Good time. Let's talk about what I thought were the best videos of the week. The ones where I thought were the Yeah, they're the best videos. I liked them. All right. And this first one is, yeah, from Otaku-Vs. I do feel like I just want to talk about every upload that he does, just because they make a splash and there's something really distinct and interesting. And again, no one's making this sort of stuff on a consistent and constantly refreshing level too. Because there is one thing, like, it's one thing to have like be an animation channel, but then making kind of similar stuff, and maybe you could argue that this is similar stuff with Otaku-Vs, but I just feel like there's something where he's bringing something additive or changing something up, or trying something else out. Although I will say that this one does have a lot of the same formula and structure as the last video he put out. This one is solving mysteries with anime logic. I don't know if I talked about. Yes, I did. I'm almost positive I did. I like that it's in 4:3, like it's uploaded in 4:3. The framing of everything, including the ads and all those things, there's just more purpose when you do it that way. I feel like there's more like you're thinking about composition more when you do that, right? There's a lot more artistry in these recent videos. Like I like the showcasing of different art just to shout out the Patreon and the merch. It doesn't feel intrusive and it feels kind of additive and interesting. Not like fan art either. It just feels very like sophisticated. Not to say that it's not to downplay the people that post fan art if they're that's really cute and awesome. But this just gives it a level of polish that just feels very, I don't know, sophisticated. And that doesn't feel like a YouTube video in the same way, right? And I just love that, really, his level to detail and the artistry on this. And speaking of that artistry, I don't know how frequent it was in previous uploads, but like there was a very distinct shift in the style here to being even more limited animation. He's kind of going after, doing more of like the visual novel stuff, or like very similar to, I guess, I'm not very versed in this genre, but like not detective, the Ace Attorney. That's what I was about to say, Detective Conan, and I was like, no, that's not it. Yeah, but like those sorts of things and like those sort of games, it kind of it's also nice, again, similar to what he did with the last video. When you have like the Japanese audio and then it plays again, it doesn't have too many changes except for it's an English dub. It allows you to watch the thing twice. It incentivizes you to watch the animation a second time, and that allows you to pick up on more details. And I think that's something that isn't appreciated as much. I don't know, or it's just like people wouldn't do as often maybe. I just really like that because you were able to pick up on more jokes or contrasted different things, and I like that. But yeah, the artistry here is really great. It reminded me a lot of Cromartie High School, actually, where it's very, just kind of a lot of heads and mouths moving is kind of the extent of the animation. But there's a lot of nice directorial and artistic choices here. And of course, it's funny. I did like the dialogue with this, and it was especially witty and sharp, and also kind of like nonsensical. In a way, like it's not trying to create this ongoing narrative, although it would be nice and cool. I think in a way it could be biting off more than you can chew, and you don't really need that when you have this character and this brand and this because I just think what Otaku-Vs is really tapping into and has what they're best at is matching a really nice aesthetic, like artistically knows their shit, but also just has the kind of internet meme based on what humor and the edge that the internet kind of has as catnip, basically. But it's giving it this nice polish and not panache, I don't know, just like aesthetically pleasing in a way. Not even in like a standard vaporwavy type way either. It doesn't feel like it's aping on any particular trends or something. It's just kind of like that's aesthetically pleasing and it's its own unique thing, even down to the text and the color choices. God, I'm awful at that. I was going to say that I'm really bad at that. I realize that I don't have a good sense of color. I'm just like, that looks nice, and it's pick random shit. I'm not good at that. But that's okay. I wish I was better at that. It's not okay. You should get better at that, Shapes. It's tough. Yeah, I have so many interests. Color theory would be one of them. But yeah, I think it's really great. They really know their shit. They know what they've polished, and also it's frequent. That was kind of quick. They did that a month ago. Heck yeah! So it makes sense, and it is repeatable, and that, of course, and that's like the magic with limited animation. I think that makes it so awesome is that you're able to make effective, compelling, awesome shit frequently, in a way that like it's consistent and it keeps fresh in your mind. And I don't know, just yeah, I people are like, oh yeah, quality over quantity. Quantity's nice too, though. don't knock quantity. Don't knock quantity completely. I get like kind of the, maybe too much or something like that, but don't knock it. I think there's some merit to it, I think. No, but yeah, I just really enjoyed it, the humor and everything. It was a good time. Great stuff. The other thing that stumbled me just earlier was that like I realized I didn't put my own video in. I'm not trying to make a self promo or something, but yes, I do have a main channel and I do post videos of my own sometimes. Like I just said, quality's nice. I wish I had the quantity personally. It's tough, but I just have too much other shit I'm doing. Like this. That's okay. That's fine. No, but this is a Ninku video. It's called "This Is Where Naruto Got His Run," and because it's a clickbait title, because I kind of wanted to have more than 1,000 views. I'm sorry. No. But like yeah. So I mean, it's being very well received, and thank you if anyone's seen it. I really appreciate it. This is a nice vid. It's been check it out, maybe. Self promo. I don't know what to say, but it was yeah, that's my video. Anyway, moving on. Noralities with a great video, and like I'm saying, this is what I wanted to make. This is like the really uplifting, cute, positive, like a nice video. Like I get that there's elements to be said, and you can talk about whatever you want, and but I just feel like this is just the wheelhouse I want you to make. I just love your art style. I think I like the creative outlet to it. I really like your very thoughtful commentary over drawing all of these magical girls and your artistic process. And be honest, where it's like, yeah, I was really struggling with this character, and I just really like blue a lot, and things like that. I really like that. And it was interesting to hear about, and all the girls look really cute. The magical girl, I think they were really tasteful choices and things. I will say that like I did prefer the when you had Chihiro in a couple different art styles, or a couple different color schemes. I liked the green one more because I mean it does work with her case. She wore green at a part of the movie, and it would help kind of distinguish the rest of it, because a lot of it's just red, blue, purple. It's just a big, I felt a lot of them had very similar styles. I like that Ponyo had yellow. I much preferred her with the yellow coat over the blue one. Although I like blue too. I'm not going to deny it, but blue is also one of my favorite, if not my favorite color. Hard to decide sometimes. But it was like, yeah, in terms of if you're going for basically the premise of the video. And also, I loved that the video just started and just went, and you don't have to explain anything or whatever. I think that you kind of go with the initial concept and starting with certain things, but it really felt like you just jumped into it, and that was really nice. It was like really cool and fun. But I liked, what was I saying? Yeah. Shoot. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like the start. Yeah, sorry. Off script. No. Yeah, but I was thinking that like the group of the 5 of them, it's like I like that you went with the choice of making them a magical girl team, because I think that would be kind of interesting and an additional challenge instead of magical girl fying each character. Like at one point it's like you could just make each of them their separate magical girl and act as if they are independent in their own series, like Sakura or Sally. I don't know why I went straight to Sally. Mickey Momo, I guess. Because they're just like, wait, that's a team, that's a team, that's a team, that's a team. Yeah, but I like the rumination on how like a lot of them are similar, are designed in certain ways, and there's certain types, like witch type, night type, things like that. I liked that. There's a lot of thought and care put into this, and again, I just really like seeing the time lapses. Even though it doesn't describe the full artistic process, I get that. I still think it was insightful and interesting and fun. Yeah, I think when you were like, what do I prefer? I was like, definitely the yellow, because for Ponyo, because it was because of her boots. I think it just made it was it was more uniform. When you made her coat blue, and then all of her pants and all this other stuff is red, and then her boots are yellow, it just felt like too much, like all three primary colors for me, which is kind of like, eh. But I just like that the boots matched the coat. I liked that personally. And then, yeah, again, I think like Chihiro would be better with green, because otherwise red, the rest of it, I was, again, if you're trying to make like a whole team, two of them are blue, and you can't really help that. Like Nausicaa and Sophie kind of have to be blue, and in that case, it's like, well, maybe choose another instead of Nausicaa, like Sen or Shita or whatever, or yeah, like having more of a uniform thing. But yeah, I otherwise I think it was good, and I did really like that you went into like kind of the personalities of each of them, like, oh, their dynamic and their role in the team type of thing. That was kind of nice. Yeah, and I just thought it was a really good creative time and wholesome and cute, and I liked it. Not like it was like, you shouldn't talk about this other. I'm just saying it's not as enjoyable. It's like, I don't know if you're great at it personally. There's other creators that I would much prefer them sink their teeth into something than talk wholesome and positively. That I would feel like, like, I think I like them for this. You go to different creators for different things, and I think it's good that a creator has a variety and like versatility. But then there's their strengths and weaknesses, right? There's some things that they're good at and things that they're not so good at. Although, again, I like kind of they kind of step out of their lane. Not to say that whatever lane you have, right? But like, I liked Drew Gooden. It's a totally separate thing, but Drew Gooden just put out a video about like what good acting is, and he's just him talking about it, and he has his typical like his kind of like his jokes and fun things like that, but it's not as like comedy driven. It is really him talking kind of seriously about acting in a way like that, and I liked it, and it was sort of different for him, and I'm like, I think this works because it still has his humor and it still is his personality and things like that. I don't know, but yeah, I just really like this video, and I would hope you make more of them. I just love seeing more of your art. And again, not many of us who are in this space are also artists. Like, Steve is, like, undoubtedly. Although it would be cool, the fact that, like, it would be cool that if since you're in that, since you have that if you found a way somehow, incorporating that even more into your videos, the same way similar to how Steven does, that would be really cool. Yeah, I would love, very time consuming and like a lot, and I think you kind of do in a way of you could argue that your avatar and those stills of you talking. I would have preferred something if you're depicting something, if you need a visual for something that you're describing, you know what I mean, similar to what Steven does. Anyway, that's like, whatever. But then, there's some of us that obviously draw and whatever, but it doesn't show up as dominantly in our videos, I suppose. Like, I technically draw, I guess, but I haven't in a while because I make videos instead. I just like that more. Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time, sheesh. But yeah, no, I just really like this video. Yeah, it's a good time. Nice one. Congratulations to Mikeyuubi for putting out this monster of a Naruto video, hour-long, about the final battle between Naruto and Sasuke. And to me, it's just like, well, good. I guess I was. Well, like, one of my sections of Naruto, it's insanely long, was going to be Naruto and Sasuke, but over the course of the whole series. Which would have been a little much if I was going to go into that amount of detail for the amount of detail that this does for the whole thing. It really made me kind of intimidated of like the amount of text, like the way that the elevated way in which you're speaking and talking about this series, is it really is like, this is where people are at. with Naruto, and I've thought of and talked about it for a long time, and I think this comes out of a long time of practice and also being there at the time in 2014 when the manga was coming out. Like, this is, a long time of rumination and considering and stuff. And so, like, me as a newcomer who just watched it last year, just the anime, and I checked out the manga in places here or there because I wanted to kind of see where it was in terms of adapting and things like that. But I'm like on a totally, and I'm writing it now, and there's parts where I'm like, I'm just gonna not talk about Naruto. Where I just find I'm just kind of using Naruto as a vehicle to talk about the things I find interesting. But then, like, hardcore Naruto analysis, I'm pretty much saving it for talking about Hinata, talking about Obito, hopefully, assuming I haven't started that section. I already have a lot of Hinata written. I just have to, like, rewrite it or revise it. And then this Naruto Sasuke rivalry, which is my favorite aspect of the show, period. And I just love rivalries in general as an Ashino Joe fan, and as a Berserk fan. It's kind of like this is really one of the best rivalries I've ever seen in this medium. And so I really want to find a way to fully depict that, but this is tough. This is stiff competition. Not to say it's competition, I guess, but it's like I don't want to just like repeat the same things you said, right? There is so much more that you're talking about when it comes to the whole picture that I wasn't even considering. Not even me. This to be a little holier than thou. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. But there were certain things I was like, oh, why would you show that? Or like, this other aspect and things like this. There's just so much to this. It's insane. And you really do fill the whole time out. I don't feel like any of it was stalling, or I think it was all necessary, and it felt like cohesive and really big. It did feel its length sometimes, but that's only because I think, again, you're talking at such an elevated level with this series, and I don't know, it's something about your language or the level of detail and the kind of the sage knowledge that you are imbuing, I guess. I just feel like, yeah, you're coming at it in such an elevated way, it's almost daunting for me. That I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where people are at with Naruto, so it's like, sheesh. I'm hoping I can bring kind of a, I don't know, different. I mean, I liked the analysis a lot, and absolutely, undeniably good. And then I really like the presentation where it's very clean, one panel at a time, very similar transitions. You're using a lot of the same effect, like you're using the same piece little thing coming out of it. You're not reinventing the wheel very much, which it's fine. It's very economic of you. I would be a big dum-dum and try to do other more advanced things. There was a couple like manga motions here and there, which were nice. But for the most part, you're not bending, you're not breaking your back over this because it's already a big video. And also I understand with like avoiding copyright and things like that. I think it's because, I am interested in how sensitive the Naruto copyright is. There are some series where it's like, yeah, you don't want to touch that, like Ghibli or something. But it is a matter of kind of how you present it and if it triggers the content ID thing. Because it's like, yeah, if you play the thing without audio, with the audio, with the full, and it goes for like 15 seconds, then yeah, you'll probably get hit. With something as high profile as Naruto, there are definitely some shows like Ninku or something where I don't know if any of it's going to trigger it unless you upload the whole thing, and even then I don't know if it does, if it will. There are certain shows like that, but Naruto, yeah, it's kind of high profile, and they've probably cracked on a lot of it over the years. So it is going to be interesting to see how that goes. I would say that like in the context of your aesthetic of what you went for here, maybe if you put the video like this, smaller in screen, instead of having it take up the whole video, and you still have that nice white background and stuff, and you can kind of move those footage around, and you can even incorporate some of the manga alongside it as well. Not even have like a anime and then the manga kind of weirdly on top of it. I like that you kept it very separate. Something like that perhaps, and then maybe the smallness of that could influence it. Also, in a way, like there is ways of slightly speeding up, not slowing down, but also cutting in places that aren't noticeable. That I think there was certain things that you were repeating certain footage that was like, yeah, he's just kind of like doing it for time or whatever. There were certain little bits like that I was like, yeah, you know. I'm sorry to get super technical, I don't know. But like when you were showing that one moment of like they were punching each other and the lines were rattling, instead of slow-moing that, you can do, if you have Premiere or not, you can do an add frame hold. If you right click the clip and then you have an add frame hold, it would just do a screenshot, and you just hold that screenshot, and that's enough where you can see all the lines and you can appreciate that. That's just a personal choice for me. I get you want to see it in motion and see all of them, sort of deal. But the way that you slowed it down was just kind of, yeah, to me. But that's just me. That's just, I'm being nitpicky. But again, I think the aesthetic overall is really clean, like really nice in that way, and again, efficient and smart. And the overall analysis is pretty thorough and good and good. Yeah. Again, also just really so it's, to me, I was thinking like I should probably not even cover but there's so much to that like, you have to. If I was going to talk about the Naruto and Sasuke rivalry, like the final battle's a part of that, but it's like I can't possibly talk about it in the level of detail that you did. So I'll probably point if I remember. This is a long time in the future, but hopefully if I remember. I did write a note actually that I loved the point that you made where I didn't think you said that somebody else pointed it. I don't know, but the idea that some of the stuff in the final battle are visual callbacks to the first battle. That's cool. It's not just the setting. It's like this part where he falls back, and in the first battle he doesn't do anything, but in the second battle he's actually working and trying to do something else. That was great. Little things like that. I was happy you pointed those things out. I also want to see if those are anime original personally. That would be my personal like looking into it, because I'm such an anime person that like anything that the anime adds, I'm like, that's right, anime better. And I can understand the manga has some edges and things, but can't beat it if it's not there. I don't know. Adding is so additive. What can I say? Yeah, but I just really enjoyed that perspective, and again, it sets a high bar for me, I think. Especially for the fact that you can talk about one battle, one fight, for an hour, and I'm like, oh geez, I have all this. It is going to take me 3 hours or whatever it's going to be. I'm like, oh geez, that's just nothing, I guess. All right. But yeah, I really enjoyed the video. It was really good. But the last video I'm gonna talk about is abroad in Japan. Congratulations to this guy too. I said congratulations to Mikeyuubi as well, but this was like a real long time in the making for him. He had this running joke where if he ever met Ken Watanabe, he would leave Japan because that's it. How can you possibly top that? He's done everything you can do in Japan at that point, and yet he did. He found it. He was here he is with Ken Watanabe, and I remember him tweeting about getting the rights to certain pictures. It was like a complete nightmare. It's like, this is fucked. Because yeah, he got like the full rights to showing some of these images for some of the for King and official pictures for King and I, official pictures for some certain movies and things like that, because you can tell he's using the same ones because those are the only ones he has. He got released to use. So he's doing this in all the legit ways, and it makes sense because he can handle that. He is such a professional in this. Really a culmination of a lot of his stuff, and I love that it's not just like wacky times with Ken Watanabe. He actually has like a really important and interesting lens to portray him as, and it's not just him meeting him, but it's also that like it's almost like a spiritual sequel or a continuation or extension of that Fukushima video he made, which was the first video I saw from him and completely blew me away. I think Susan Wojcicki tweeted that out as well. But like unreal levels of production and tactfulness and informative, and like the way he presents these things and the footage he's using, and his narration is both like really kind and like really clean, but also kind of like self-deprecating on himself, and relatable and enjoyable. It's unreal, and like he's really like practiced so much and has made so many videos over such a long time, and just has this like level where he can make a video like this, and it's not just a little feature cameo thing. It really feels like he's making something really interesting and valuable, and but also like because he's talking. I don't know if I think I cut myself off, but like the Fukushima thing is with, if you haven't seen the video, Ken Watanabe is his bit for the since Fukushima has been since the 2011 earthquake has been working with this particular community and built a restaurant, like a cafe there, and he's the owner, and he's not just like sponsoring them or whatever. He is the owner, and constantly attuned with the menu and visiting and signing whatever, and just being involved and active in the community. And then he had like a live concert and he has these other talents and things like that. It was just like there was so much more to it than I was expecting, that just made it elevated as just really great piece, really great video. And it's just so it's definitely one of those elements of like, yeah, this is the video thing is undeniably the next evolution with media. You know, we can already feel it that way because all of us are on YouTube and stuff, and we've been doing it for years, and it's already in, you know, most of us watch YouTube videos way, demonstrably more than TV, you know, or radio. You know, it's really that next level. You know, besides movie, you know, people still watch, you know, entertainment media and things like that, like, you know, anime and TV shows and movies and things like that, and we're talking about them largely. But in terms of like, you know, the media thing, and this really feels like that legit next level, you know, that sort of creation, I think. And it's but yeah, anyway, congratulations to him. I just really like the video a lot. I know he doesn't talk much about anime or anything. It's weird for him to put him on AniTube Digest in a way. But I know, like, you know, he's still kind of like, he's adjacent, and also I can talk about whatever I want. Fuck you. I try to keep it like in relevance, but like I could make, you know, I do whatever I want. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It's a phenomenal video, really. Yeah, and that'll do it for this installment of AniTube Digest. Thank you very much for watching. You guys are great. You have a great week. Yo, peace.